Welcome, everybody, to another great CEO podcast. This is Jim Schleckser, and I'm here with Phil Friedman from CGS. Welcome, Phil.
Thank you very much.
Very
nice to meet you.
Maybe we could just start with, tell us a little bit about yourself and your company.
So you probably will notice a minute into the discussions that I wasn't born in this country. I'm an immigrant. Came as a penniless immigrant in 1976 to the United States. By education, I have a degree in electronic engineering. I also have a degree in economics and finance. When I came to the United States, didn't speak any English, went back to school and studied in a very intensive program for 6 months, data processing, as it was called at that time, and English. And to spare you the whole story, it took me 3 years after I spent some time working in the industry, in technology industry, to start, implementing systems in New York. And in 1983, decided to start CGS. CGS today is a major technology company, if I am saying major, mid-sized technology company with 8,200 employees around the globe. We have 21 offices in 8 countries, customers in 50 countries. And in some respect, we are a very unique technology company only because we are very diversified in what we do.
Okay. So, there's a lot of technology companies out there. What for you is your competitive advantage? Why do people choose to work with your firm versus any other one they might choose to work with?
So Jim, I alluded to it by saying that we are very diversified. Okay. And while we can deliver a lot of different products and services to our customers, I always say at the end of the day, we have one single product that we bring to our customers. And it's in the name of the company, computer-generated solutions. We bring solutions. And my best customer is a customer that buys my software, buys my services, my cloud managed services, then BPO, ITO, and then training. And in some cases, same customer will buy the product of our new company called Teamwork AR, augmented reality. And those are the products that we craft and put together as a solution to many of our global customers.
Got it. Okay. We would call that a customer intimate competitor, meaning we understand the problem so well that we can generate a solution that's unique for you. Not for anybody else, it works for you.
You're absolutely right. And that's a basic and major advantage we have in the marketplace, because it's very few companies that execute on the same strategy we do. It used to be IBM, HP, the large, huge technology companies that have been able to put together a solution, what we are doing today. But in the mid-market, I think we are very unique.
Yeah, I agree. So you mentioned a couple different solutions, but in blended, what percentage of that revenue recurs every year? Let's say you end one year at 700 million or whatever your number is. How much of that recurs into the next year automatically? No selling required, right?
So the company has recurring revenue in the 75% range.
Nice.
And I sitting here, end of 2021, we can exactly predict what we have in-house for next year and what our revenue is going to be, because we have long-term contracts and we have a full pipeline and full visibility to what will happen next year.
Perfect.
Obviously, with COVID, it's a lot of unknowns that can affect it, but generally speaking, we have very strong feel for where we at.
That's right.
Given time.
Good. And that is actually the question. On January 1st, how much of the revenue do you have in your pocket? No question. And you exactly answered it. So that's perfect. all systems have a point of constraint. In other words, software code, the flow of a subway, everything has a constraint that controls the throughput of the entire system. So if I open up the bottleneck or the point of constraint, it changes the nature of the business positively. So in your business, what would be the point of constraint? The one thing that if I could just change this, I get bigger or more profitable or serve more clients, whatever the objective is, magic wand, it changes. What would that item be for you?
So if you would ask me this question even 2 years ago, the answer probably would be different. Today, the constraint is labor market, and availability of qualified people to do the work. We have the work, and we have the ability to grow exponentially. The problem is that the workforce is constrained, and we have to go wide and deep to find the labor we need to deliver the services.
Got it.
And it's not only a US statement, by the way. We have the same constraints now developing all over the world. And being able to hire hundreds of people, train them, enable them to deliver quality service is probably the only concern that keeps me up 3 o'clock in the morning. And probably not the only. The second one is the cybersecurity problems all over the world. And we're spending millions of dollars to strengthen our defenses, and we're working on it around the clock because that's a major, major problem around the world.
Got it. Yeah. And there's tens of thousands of people trying to penetrate every day, and you have to be smarter than all of them, right?
Sure.
Yeah, interesting. You probably in the job categories you hire, unemployment is negative 10 or 15%, not just 4 or 5, it's negative. There's just that much of a deficit.
Yeah, the market just pre-pandemic in the United States, we lost 5 million people didn't return to the workforce. And this is a big number. And the truth of the matter is we are looking for people who have some education that we can train to deliver quality. Yeah. And the market is getting narrower and narrower where you look at this market. So that's a concern. I hope that with COVID being behind us, or we will put it behind us one day, things will change. I always remind my teams that at the end of 1999 and 2000, everyone was afraid what will happen to Y2K. Anyone who can spell COBOL was making huge salaries.
Yeah, I remember.
Then year 2000 came, nothing happened. And January, poof, the market opened up and we had, everything was back to normal.
Yeah.
So I hope this will happen here, but right now that's a concern.
Agreed. So how many hours a week do you work nowadays? And if you think about buckets, what buckets do you put the most of your time into?
So I think if you will ask any CEO, and I know you talk to many of them, everyone will say that a CEO's job doesn't finish by 5 o'clock when we leave the office.
Yeah.
I'm available to my staff around the clock, and the business never leaves you. You have to be engaged and involved, and especially because we are a global company.
Yeah.
So my customers work in different time zones, and my people work in different time zones. So I can't say that I sit on the phone all day long, but my brain works all day long around the business.
Got it. Yeah. Sometimes I've asked that question, and they go, "How many hours do I work?" They go, "When I'm not asleep." Other than that, I'm working. And even when I'm sleeping, I'm actually probably working sometimes. So,
Jim, it's a tremendous responsibility when you have 80 to 100 families depending on your decisions. Every CEO who has, the feel for the business has to experience the responsibility for decisions he makes and the people lives he affects.
Absolutely. That is the right way to think about it. So can you name one major responsibility that you delegated, you got rid of from your responsibilities in the last 6 months?
The way we organized, each division of the company has a president that has full P&L responsibility, and every country manager has full P&L responsibility for the business of the country. So while I was more hands-on in day-to-day operations of those groups, I delegated it more and more to the presidents of the divisions to make those decisions. While I'm still hands-on, very involved, I understand what's happening, but I let people make more decisions than they used to.
Awesome.
And
That's great.
it takes some doing, because when you build a business, I started with 5 employees.
Yeah.
It's a hard thing to do, to delegate, but you
is.
come to realize that you cannot make every decision yourself.
Yep. Well, it's why we ask the question. You need to constantly elevate what you work on, and then everybody else elevates at the same time.
Sure.
It's not easy. So if you were to describe your leadership approach, what would be 1 or 2 things that are central, sort of how you think about the CEO job?
Well, the CEO job is a job of being responsible financially, being responsible on many different levels for the health of your business. But I always say we have 3 missions and 3 responsibilities as CEOs. It's people, it's people, and it's people. Because technology, anyone can manage technology. We can learn technology. But managing people, making sure that the team follows you, that the execution is crisp, that people understand the mission of what you're trying to accomplish, and they really willing to execute your strategy, that's the role of CEO. And I think, you obviously need to be well-versed in technology and accounting and finance and labor laws and legal, but people skill is probably the most important skill of a CEO.
Awesome. That's great. And then just last question, what do you do for fun? We've been so serious here. What do you do to have a good time?
I'm a serious guy by my nature, but I spend a lot of time with my grandchildren. That's, the reward in life, especially when you reach a time of your life when your kids give you grandchildren, and that's probably the joy of my life. I travel. I love to travel. I travel to 140 countries.
Wow.
And everywhere I go, I learn something. I like to engage with local people, understand local culture. And I hope one day when I retire, I will expand the 140. I believe it's 223 countries in the world. So I still have plenty to explore.
You do. Although the UN only recognizes it's like 160. So you're darn close to the whole UN number. You're now going past that, the sort of not recognized countries at the moment.
That's a dream. That's a dream.
Wonderful. Well, Phil, thank you so much. This was a great conversation. You have a great business, and I wish you very good luck going forward.
Pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.